Hi everyone, welcome to the Heart of Illumination. I'm Joseph. Today we'll cover the topic of healing as a journey. And why do I want to focus on that today? Because in the modern world and the modern understanding of spirituality and healing, there are a lot of misconceptions, and I just want to share a slice of my truth. And whatever I share, take what resonate, leave the rest. But in general, healing in the modern age has been there's a lot of misconceptions. And when I was in the beginning of my journey, you can call it self-discovery journey, healing journey, on the journey of becoming whole, right? Wholeness. And then there's final journey of kind of embodiment, but there isn't a word to describe it, right? Maybe you become a master of yourself, a master of sorts. So you end up walking the journey of a master, but that's a ways away. A lot of people, especially in this current age, or maybe especially in the past several years, are going through their stages of awakening or the waves of awakening, where maybe it's easier to think of it as a cycle, where you can even align it to like a hero's journey, and maybe each chapter is like a fulfillment of an entire hero's journey arc. So it could be that a certain person living in the United States, working in a corporate job, 9 to 5 or something similar, one day has a sudden realization or an idea, or most likely, because a lot of people are not super in tune or receptive, or have learned to dull their sensitivity, is that they feel super uncomfortable, or there might be pain, or it might be a combination of discomfort, intense discomfort, or pain, or something else, or a lot of wobble in their life. And therefore, right, so that might be caused by their body, physical, or emotionally, right? Emotionally, maybe they can't stop thinking, so that's crossing a little bit into the mental realm. But there's a lot of these different conflicting emotions coming up, or a lot of different thoughts causing these different emotions. The whole kind of tapestry of body, mind, and emotions kind of working against them. And so basically, they have a moment or an extended moment of this pain. And so then they start looking for answers. And so that's let's say that's step 2, right? Step 1 is kind of they're just living their normal life. Step 2 is that, right, this experience of pain and discomfort. And then step 3 is they're looking for answers, right? What is causing this? Like, do I need to go to the doctor and check on my body? Do I need to go to let's talk with my friends and see if they can help me process some of these emotions and these thoughts and so forth. And if they're lucky, the friends or their support system will help them kind of gain some clarity with the emotional stuff, with things that are happening in their life, and at least kind of hold space, right? Not meaning solving their problems, but at least hear them out, provide genuine feedback, and not and being judgmental free. And so and then eventually, whatever they discover, it either alleviate a symptom, or it's usually a band-aid to a deeper root cause. And then so they continue searching, and then they have to go through multiple cycles to at least get a glimpse of what the root issue is. And so the healing is a journey, because when I was starting out on my journey, and then eventually I stumbled across someone that was talking about healing, I'm like, okay, what the heck is this thing? And it's always, I want to share a deeper realization, as well as deeper realization, where even if a teaching comes in, and let's say the person is fully embodied, fully aligned to what they're teaching, and they're a master, a true master, it will still take me clearing my inner hurdles, kind of a veil covering my eyes, and it will take a lot of inner clarity for me to fully receive that teaching. So whenever I interact with something, it is always, okay, have I done the work to clear my inner, to clear whatever allows me to see clearly, to experience clearly, to hear clearly the wisdom, not just the words, but the vibration, the intention, and in a way that package of wisdom transmission when it is transmitted. So that's what I realized on my journey, is that yes, as I was starting out on my journey, because I had blind spots, I can see with my eyes, but it doesn't mean I saw clearly. I can hear with my ears, but it doesn't mean I heard clearly. And I could feel with my heart, but it did not mean I can feel clearly and the wholeness of a message, or even be receptive of a message of someone's good intentions, or someone's love, or something like that. So it is always, that's why we have to do the inner work, so that we can calibrate and tune into whether we are clear, we are still, and we are whole, to be able to receive from the external world a message, a transmission, or a wisdom, to see clearly, to hear clearly, and to feel clearly, so that we can think clearly, and so forth. So when the concept of healing came to me earlier on, my mind, right, would already apply a lot of assumptions to that idea, right? Maybe it was communicated in a clear way, but once it came to my perception and came into my mental awareness, my mind, in an earlier stage of my development and growth, was like, oh, healing has to be this, healing has to be this, healing has to be this, right? And also probably some of the teachers that I learned from, they were on their own journey of healing, self-discovery, coming into wholeness and mastery. And so that's okay, right? And so I'm just here to say that, yes, be attuned to yourself, so that you can receive wisdom more clearly and more whole. And of course, trust that you'll be connected with the right people to share with you. And you don't have to expect them to be perfect, or to be an ascended master, or somebody that's accomplished like a million things to be able to teach you, right? Because the right teacher will come to you, and they'll share with you whatever they can, even if they're just one chapter ahead of you. They'll share with you a couple gems. If you're attuned to yourself and you humble yourself to go on this journey, to keep practicing to see clearly, hear clearly, feel clearly, and think clearly, then yes, then you'll receive wisdom regardless if it's from anybody. And even if your teacher triggers you, right? It could be a friend that doesn't have good intention for you, and they're triggering you, or they're causing some ruckus. But if you do your own inner work, you'll receive that lesson clearly, you'll receive that wisdom clearly, and that's your gem. It doesn't mean you have to have them in your life for the rest of your life. It just means that for that moment they were your teacher, but their method of teaching you is to trigger you in some emotional capacity, and you have to tune into, okay, that trigger is bringing stuff, right? And what's on you that you can practice and align more true to yourself with the new feedback. And of course, you can see, if you can see clearly yourself, the things that you need to work on or need to align better to your true self, then you can, in those moments, you can also see from the other person, oh, they've been hurt this way, so now they have this habit, or they have this tendency to to do certain things, and it's not good or bad, right? It's no longer right or wrong. It's like, oh, they can improve on these stuff and they can align better to their true self. However, they're reacting right now is not their true self. So that's kind of it. That's my point. It's just to be more receptive, to treat and to tune into the core idea and not a belief, and the wisdom that healing is a journey. And so part 2 of this message is that healing also is not that you go to a sound healing, or you go do a ayahuasca session, or you go to a meditation retreat, and once you completed that you think that's your healing, all right? Or you think you have to complete a certain homework, and that's the completion of your healing. It doesn't work that way, right? Healing is kind of a lifelong initiative that once you become aware of it, you consciously, unconsciously, and in a way, as you're connected with your soul, you have agreed to go on this healing journey for the rest of your life, right? And maybe you weren't aware of the healing journey before that moment, but you also agreed to go on the healing journey for this lifetime. And at some point, the term healing becomes a little more loose, and you don't necessarily step off of the journey, but it just becomes more inclusive of something else. So that's what I had brought up at the beginning. So usually people start with the self-discovery journey, and then somehow through their travels, or they're learning different things, the theme of healing will come up. And so healing is inclusive within the self-discovery journey, and self-discovery journey had already included healing, but you weren't aware of it before, but it's part of it. And then eventually healing, as you progress, evolve, and really embody the essence, in a way, the essence of healing, what it means to you, what it means to not be perfectly healed, but be perfectly committed to this journey of self-discovery and healing, then the door opens up to what I like to call wholeness. And different people have different definition for wholeness. For me, wholeness is when you basically is as you become more aware of the very many aspects you have within you. You can call them different personality traits, different character traits, different kind of aspects of your multi-dimensionality, and some people dive into different rabbit holes of near-death experience, various kind of metaphysical modalities to kind of gather other aspects in a metaphysical way, those aspects, and then integrate them into this life. Not trying to simplify it, whereas just the realization that we have other aspects beyond this personality, this narrow egoic vision that we've been carrying for most of our life, to realizing that, oh, I can have other perspective, right? My narrow perspective is beginning to broaden up, and I have other aspects that are similar to kind of how my personality is structured, how I am in this world, how I present myself in the world, but yet there are other aspects. Maybe childhood, right? An inner child aspect. Maybe, right, the parts of you that really loves humor and likes to prank and likes to watch fun videos or prankster videos, right? There's an aspect. I try to not put a label, but people call it trickster or just the jokester, right? So we can call that an aspect. But basically, in a way, your journey of going on the journey of wholeness, your journey of healing starts transitioning more and more inclusive of your journey of wholeness. And when you become aware that you have other aspects, and you start integrating those aspects into your present being, and the process of integration very quickly is more of realizing it, realize that you're aware of it, realize you're just being aware of it, having no judgment about it, but just seeing it clearly as an aspect, right? There's not a good or a bad, it's just an aspect of you. Acceptance, right? And that's the third step, because we have to become aware. And most people, a lot of things come up when they go from awareness to non-judgment, right? I'm not saying that you have to accept it right away once you're aware of it, but a lot of there's a lot of clearing that needs to happen from the stage of awareness to non-judgment, right? And part of being non-judgmental is to be less judgmental of the external world, so that we can be less judgmental of who we are already, physical aspects, everything that we're consciously aware of as a person right now, as well as these other aspects that are in the unconscious and subconscious. And so people clear those things up, and the jump from non-judgmental awareness, right, just knowing that this thing exists and it's part of me, then eventually people start easing into acceptance. It's like, oh, there's a part of me that people might call lazy, or that is just at ease and so forth, right? It's not good or bad, because people that are lazy, but the lazy has pros and cons. Everything in life, every characteristic has pros and cons. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs, they have an aspect of them that's very kind of lazy and at ease. And if you hear one of those stories, they're like, they realize, for example, that, oh, I don't want to work for the rest of my life. Let's just build a business so I never have to work again. And then so part of that laziness is to clarify for them, I don't want to work for a corporation for 50 years and then retire at 60 or something. No. Yeah, there's a part of me that's lazy, so I want to kind of lounge around for a while. But I know in this world I need to, let's say I need to build a business and have money and have resources so that I can lounge around for a while. Okay, let me just use another aspect that I have, the desire to create this lazy life, so that, okay, I'm going to focus for 3 years on building this business. And then sure enough, right, some of them hit it big and they're like, yeah. And then they go on the interview that says, oh yeah, I just wanted to create a life that I didn't have to work for the next 50 years. So that one aspect helped them clarify what they want. And then the other aspect is, oh, I'm going to work my ass off, use everything within my creativity and faculty to create a life that I don't have to work for 50 years. So it's about being aware, non-judgmental, noticing of these aspects, and acceptance. And then my example highlights, once we accept them, they're no longer good or bad, then they start integrating into us. How do we use them effectively for our own alignment, for our own highest good, right? It's no longer what someone else says we need to do. It's like, oh, there's an aspect of me that's lazy and I only want to work 4 hours a week. Tim Ferriss is, if you are familiar, Tim Ferriss wrote a book called 4-Hour Workweek. So he's kind of similar to the person that I highlighted in the example, right? He's like, no, I don't want to work a corporate job, right? It's a great book, but through his life lessons, I think going through college and so forth, like, I don't want to get a 9-to-5 job and work for someone for 40 years and retire or whatever. No, I only want to work 4 hours a week, or I want to build a system to eventually allow me to work only 4 hours a week. How do I do that? And so his aspect of laziness or wanting to just do things with his free time that only he wants to, and then he allowed another aspect to come up in, like, oh, the solution oriented aspect, the overthinker aspect maybe, and yet balance them out, right? I'm going to use the overthinker aspect for a time to think of good business ideas so that I can implement the business ideas, so that as the business gets built and eventually I can get to I build a system that I only work 4 hours a day, then I can lean more into the laziness aspect, and the overthinking aspect can kind of just diminish a little bit and get balanced out, right? So something like that. So awareness, non-judgmental, noticing, acceptance, in a way, aligning to acceptance and learning how to use it, how to use what is good about each aspect that you can use properly, that's in alignment with you, and then harmony. These are the core 5 stages. Harmony, right? At some point, they all come into balance, and you're kind of juggling each of these aspects, so that they're helping you create what you want in your life. So that's it. I would cover more about healing as a journey as a theme, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that I can share, and my part of my purpose is actually to help inform those who resonate, so that let's say you can align more clearly and more steadfastly uh, with your own unique alignment as you go through this journey and you pick up new concepts, and when you learn about these things, um, you can do it from a place of groundedness and clarity, so that you don't get trapped by the idea, but yet you allow these ideas to come into your life to serve you. And then once the idea has played its role, you can let that idea go. So it also touches on death, and rebirth, right? So we also do this with ideas all the time. Like the truly smart people is they take an idea that resonates with them in the moment, use it to the fullest that's in their alignment, and then eventually everything changes, right? So even ideas become no longer relevant or no longer useful, or they're just false because the external world has changed. And there's a whole bunch of analogies we can do around those. But so we drop those ideas and we attune to an idea that is in alignment to the reality that we are seeing clearly. So there's a whole bunch of stuff we can cover. So I hope that helped a little bit. Feel free to come back for more information as I continue to share deeper wisdom about the self-discovery journey, healing journey, the journey of wholeness, and then the journey of being an embodied master. See you next time.